Good morning, good morning, good morning. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and you are breathing. Today is Saturday, July the 6th, 2024, and I would like to welcome you all to This is Just a Thought with Stephen Cornick Gay. Hope everyone's enjoying their Saturday, end of the work week, end of the work week. The weekend has begun. Fun, 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 fun. Jesse is. All right, today's word of the day, dog days, which means the hottest time of the year. And it is living up to that name and definition this time of the year right here in North Carolina and throughout the United States also. So, hey, before I go any further, hit that like and subscribe button along with that bell icon so you can get notified when I drop these podcasts. Keep you in the loop. A lot of interesting topics we will be talking about and discussing, and I would hate for you guys to miss out on that. So hit that like, subscribe, and that bell icon and you won't miss one single podcast. Always. And as always, hey, like I always say, I'm pretty thick skinned. Get in that comment section. Let me know what you guys think about the topics I'm talking about. Are they good, bad, ugly, broke, busted, disgusted? Let me know. I'm pretty thick skinned. I won't bite. I won't bite. We're all adults. We're all mature, I would hope. Some of us may not be, but I think we can have a nice, calm, mature adult discussion and agree or disagree, whatever the case may be. Just get in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. All right, let's move along here, man. As I spoke of earlier, this is indeed, the dog days of summer. Man, the heat, it ain't letting up. Yesterday, well, the 4th of July started. The 4th started it. Yesterday was, wow, it was in the upper 90s, high upper 90s, with a real feel of 108. And today is expected or predicted to be much of the same. But however, the real feel is going to be 106. Oh, goody. The temperature dropped 2 degrees. So the real feel dropped 2 degrees. But it's just hot. There's no way around it. There's no other word to say it. It's hot. But the only saving grace may be because yesterday also, just like they're saying today, we're going to get those late evening thunder showers and thunderstorms that are cooling off. But it's brief. It's brief. However long it rains for, and usually after some time thereafter it stops. It's when the sun comes out and it heats right back up. But what they're saying is Sunday is expected to be a washout. We're going to get some rain tomorrow. I don't know if we're going to get rain the whole day, but they're saying pretty much a part of a good portion of the day is going to be filled with rain. And that could also be the case for the remainder of the week with those late day thunderstorms. It cools it off, but like I said, it's briefly. What's going to happen later on this week? We just may be getting some of the remnants of Hurricane Burl. Oh, Hurricane Burl has already ravaged Jamaica. Now it's down in the Gulf Coast. I believe they're saying that it's going to go through Mexico, of course, portions of Mexico, and then, of course, go through Texas. Is going to get some of the rain and heavy winds also. I would say that's a good thing for Texas along that part, but Houston has been getting hammered for if it's not the heat, they have gotten some heavy rains and downpours, so they're going to get some more. Certainly needed, and not just there, but throughout the United States. I mean, especially here in North Carolina. And I wasn't aware, but it makes perfect sense. We're in a drought. Drought monitor is up. It's up everywhere in the United States. This heat, we haven't really gotten any rain this summer. So those little showers, they are welcome. I don't care what anyone says. It's just the aftermath that throws a lot of folks off. And I'm one of them because yesterday when it rained, I was thinking to myself, oh man, this feels so good. I was still at work, getting ready to get off. It started raining. I said, "Oh man, thank you, thank you, thank you, Jesus." But it stopped, and the sun came back out, and that was that. Yeah, it just was. It heated right back up like it never came around. It just did. It just did. So, as always, we're dealing with this heat, man. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Sunscreen. Wear a hat on your head. Limit your time outside. Wear loose-fitting, light-colored clothes. And of course, above any and everything, if you are one of those that have to be out there in the heat, recognize the signs of heat exhaustion and heat stroke. And of course, hey, check on the elderly also. But yeah, if you're one of those, you have to, for those that work out there in that heat. Um, we can scream limit your time outside all we want to, but you have to work out there in it, and you know how to handle your business. So hey, just if you can, I know it's hard, especially if you work out there in the heat. Limit your time outside. Take as many breaks as needed. Find some shade if you can. Hydrate, hydrate. Water, water, water. Gatorade, Pedialyte. I won't go down that road anymore. I won't go down that road anymore with Pedialyte. But man, hydrate, man. Get that nourishment, get those electrolytes back into you. Um, cool off when you can. Like I said, if you're working outside, wear something on your head. Put a hat on your head. Of course, also put that sunscreen on. Also, I mean, hey, it is what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. Especially if you have to work out there in that heat. And like I said, hey, check on the elderly. Make sure they're doing all right. You know how the elderly folks are. They don't like that AC too tough. They'll have the fan on. Either they got every window in the house up or they have the windows closed, but they'll have that fan on. And they're just fine, or so they think. So check in on your elderly relatives or neighbors or friends or whatever, what have you. Check in on them to make sure they're doing okay. Hey, sad as it sounds, you quite possibly could save a life. Be just good, just good. All right, let's move along here, man. Enough of that weather talk, but I sure hope and pray that we get a little bit of rain, cool things off, however long it lasts, however long it lasts. A little bit of sports news and entertainment news combined, if I could say that. Looks like old ESPN's top-notch sports commentator and analyst Stephen A. Smith is catching some flack. He's catching some flack from the black community for some recent comments that he made about the BET Awards show. The BET Awards show was last Sunday, I want to say. He's catching some flack from the statements he made. And no, it wasn't a social commentary, because if you saw that BET Awards, if you've seen any of the BET Awards in the past decade, you'll understand my reasoning when I finish this, why I said what I say, and I said what I said. He's catching flack from the black community, of course, because of the comments he made. It appears the BET award show, they gave a tribute to O.J. Simpson. You know, O.J. Simpson passed sometime last month in June. So Stephen A. Smith took to the airways sometime this week after that BET Awards show came on, and he said he was disgusted. How could they? He pretty much said, how could they? He was disgusted. It was a blatant sign, a show of disrespect to pay tribute to O.J. Simpson. The man was full of controversy. He was a murderer. Rah rah rah. Shish boom bah. He's offended. Is that the only thing that offended you about the BET Awards? They paid a tribute or gave a recognition to O.J. Simpson? Did you watch the BET Awards? Did you watch the damn BET Awards show that I watched? Because the one that I watched, I could care less about a tribute to O.J. That BET Awards show last Sunday, and all the ones previous to that within the past decade, is trash. It's horrible. For a society that comes around and every little thing they nitpick, whine, piss, and moan about as it relates to how the perception of women and the perception of the black community, they sure give the BET Awards show a pass. If I offend any of you out there, oh well, que sera, sera, sorry. It's not my cup of tea. I haven't watched that damn show, and I don't know. I can't tell you the last time I watched the BET Awards show because it's so horrible. It's a slut fest. There, I said it. It's a slut fest. Slut fest. For to see black women, I mean, the whole show is about twerking. They're half naked. I mean, to be honest with you, some of them should be fully naked. And I can't understand why Stephen A. Smith, out of all things, he chose to horn in and target their tribute to O.J. Simpson. Who cares about O.J.? I was saying that when he was alive. Who cares about O.J. Simpson as it relates to the black community? Who cares about BET Awards show giving a tribute to O.J. Simpson? When you have women walking around that are supposed to be a representation of African American females or black females, however you want to word it, say it, coin it, phrase it, whatever, looking like whoremongers, naked. Everything imaginable that is supposed to be private and intimate between man and woman, or now in this day and age, woman and woman, you can see it on the TV for free. And they are voluntarily doing it. No one's pushing them or suggesting that they do this. They do this voluntarily. Like I said, for a society that has came out and denounced any derogatory treatment or visualization of women, the BET Awards show sure gets a damn pass. Was there some sort of memo that came out that said that, hey, that we'll get a pass because it's African American females? It's understood that's what they do. I must have missed that memo. Missed that meeting. But yeah, Stephen A. Smith said he's upset and disgusted and he won't watch the BET Award show ever again because they gave a tribute to O.J. Simpson. Man, go fly a kite. Is that the only thing you were upset and offended about, O.J. Simpson? A tribute? Like I said, did you watch that? Because what I saw was offensive on every level. How the BET Award show gets away with that, I'm sure I'll never know. I'm sure I'll never understand. But there needs to be a come to Jesus meeting. That's not black entertainment. That's not black excellence. That's black buffoonery. There, I said it. It is. It's black buffoonery. Yeah, I like to see, I love the ladies. I love the ladies. Hey, every now and again, I like to see a little raunchy video or two, or raunchy performance. But not every damn performance. That's not black entertainment. That doesn't, no way, no shape, form, or fashion, in my opinion, cover the spectrum of black entertainment. Or does it? Maybe I am an old fogey. Maybe this is it. This is what black entertainment is now. No more is it being able to play an instrument or being able to sing fully clothed and look presentable. Maybe it's just the opposite. Maybe this is entertainment now. Maybe I'm old, gray, busted, and disgusted and really don't know what I'm talking about. And apparently Stephen A. Smith doesn't know what he's talking about either. Because OJ, who cares about OJ? I'm saying that when the guy was alive. I could care less about him. I just couldn't. I had no worries or quarrels or qualms about OJ. Now, we all know what he allegedly did, but he was tried in court and wasn't convicted. He was found innocent. But, hey, apparently there's a lot of folks here on this earth, this side of the dirt, that are still horning in and focusing on that. And that's what they choose to be offended by. I just think, Mr. Stephen A. Smith, you could have found a whole lot more to be offended about. as it relates to the BET Awards. Because like I said, the whole thing is trash. It's garbage. It's a slut fest. It is. It just is. It just is. Well, enough about that. But man, hey, we all have our quarrels and qualms in this world, and apparently that was his, and that's what he chose to horn in on. That's what he was most offended about. Or were you just trying to reach some new, get some new viewers, man? Hopefully find you a new audience somewhere, somehow. Maybe, maybe not, maybe not, maybe not. Well, let's move along here, folks. Well, he did it. Slapped me across the mouth and called me stupid as Susie. Called me stupid Susie. He did it. President Joe Biden finally he sat down as was suggested, and he took the bait. He sat down for an unscripted interview with ABC's George Stephanopoulos. Sat down for that unscripted interview, came on last night to answer questions about his lackluster performance at the debate last week. Now, if you remember, I had said there's no way, no how his staff is going to allow him to do that after that debate performance. But apparently they allowed him, and apparently I guess he wanted to do it, so he did it. And of course, you know, the whole topic of that unscripted interview was, of course, his debate performance. How's his health? How's his cognitive skills? How's his mental skills? How's his physical skills? How is he doing? He gave the interview, and even before that, one thing that he had said that kind of made me chuckle. And it kind of shows, and you got to say to yourself, why, what in the world? He came out with a statement inside of a statement where he says that the reason why his debate performance was so off was because he was tired. He was getting over a cold. He had been overseas. He had just gotten back like 6 days before the debate, and he had to prep for the debate. So he was tired, and he needs to start going to bed at 8 o'clock. You need to start going to bed when? And you want to be president of the United States? You need to start going to bed at 8 o'clock. And you want to be the president or remain the president of the United States. Wow. Mr. President, Mr. President, Mr. President. I would have kept that one to myself, buddy. I would have said I was exhausted. I wasn't feeling well. I had a cold. I was just getting over a cold. I had been overseas. I was a little bit drained, but I wouldn't have said out loud to the American public that as your sitting United States president and hopefully returning United States president, I need to start going to bed at 8 o'clock. No, I wouldn't have said that. I would not have said that. Now, old George Stephanopoulos went on to ask him questions. He pretty much asked him the same thing in multiple ways to see what his response was going to be. Because just like everyone else here in this country, we all are asking ourselves and thinking to ourselves the same thing. Is this man really fit to be the president of the United States again? Can he last a second term? I don't think so. I'm just going to put it out there. What I saw on that debate, what I saw at that interview last night, what I've been seeing the past, 3 years now, strongly supports my argument and my belief in first term limits and age restrictions. I'll say it again. I support term limits and age restrictions. You don't need to be in office affecting change for generations upon generations of American citizens. You just don't. And it's showing with President Biden, showing with former President Trump also. Like I said about that debate, they looked and sounded like two grumpy old uncles arguing in the backyard. And they both collectively combined are those old uncles, grandfathers that you don't want to be out when company comes over because they're going to say something completely and totally off script and off the rails that's going to embarrass the hell out of you. I'm sorry. I think, hey, President Biden, I'm sure he's a good man. He's a great man. He's a great leader. Thankful for what he has done thus far. But it may be time for him to step aside. And that is echoed by many members now in the Democratic Party that are coming out publicly. They're no longer behind closed doors. They're coming out publicly. They're saying, hey, we need to find someone else to run for president. But just like I said earlier in the week or last week when I talked to you guys about that, it's too late. It's too late. I think I had made a mistake and said we were 8 months out. I think we are what? Man, what is this? July, August, September, October, November. That's 3 or 4 months away from trying to elect a president of the United States. I just think it's too late to try to find someone else to run. In the event that they do make that decision before this national convention that is coming up, I believe it's coming up next month also, along with the Republican convention. In the event they decide to go somewhere, go to another person besides Joe Biden, I just think it's too late. It's a guaranteed slam dunk victory for the Republicans. Because if you're one of those that are undecided or those independent voters, which they keep bringing up, you're looking and you got to say to yourself, would this switch out this late in the in the ball game? You got to be saying to yourself, the Democratic Party don't have it together. You just do. So I don't know what the Democrats are going to do, if they're going to remain strong and stay with old President Joey Boy Biden, or if they're going to go with Kamala Harris. That's going to be very interesting. That's going to tell the tale. We're going to now see how fair, if they decide to go with Vice President Kamala Harris, we're going to see if the Democratic Party and those liberals in the Democratic Party are those liberals in the United States that are for equal rights and equality and equity. We want to see if they really are about that talk game like that. Very interesting, very interesting. But we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Are they going to stick it and tough it out with President Biden? Or are they going to just say, hey, it's time to move on, move forward, step aside? Like I said, during that interview, he kept reiterating and trying to say or flat out say what he's been doing. If his cognitive skills were so off, or he was mentally unprepared or inept to handle his business, he wouldn't have did this, yada yada, rah rah rah, shish boom ball. He taunted how the economy's doing, how he fought off inflation, how he did with the COVID relief, how he's been battling with Putin, how he's handling the affairs in Israel and the Middle East. That's what you're supposed to do as the president of the United States, is it not? But as he said, his lackluster debate performance was due, of course, to the fact that he was getting over a cold. He had been overseas for however many days, and he was 6 days back, and he had to go directly into prep for the debate. And he needs to start going to bed at 8 o'clock and not hold any political events since 8 o'clock, after 8 o'clock. Okay, Mr. President. So, hey, any politics or any national or international affairs need to be handled before 8 p.m. daily. That's embarrassing. It just is, folks. It's embarrassing. It is. It is. There, I said it. Man, this guy said he needs to go to bed at 8 o'clock. He can't do anything after 8 p.m. Wow. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe it'll make the world a better place if we all go to bed at 8 p.m. and get enough rest and be refreshed to start the day anew. Okay? I mean, hey, stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. He also said that, hey, even though he was exhausted and he was tired, that even after the debate, and he said that proves that his cognitive skills are on point, that he just had a bad day. He just had a bad performance, like many of us have in his life. He said even after the debate, he was up until 2 a.m. He went to some more rallies and more support shows and rallies and well, we saw him at the Waffle House down in Atlanta. He went to some more political events, campaign events, and he did that up until 2 a.m. And then the next day, of course, I forgot to mention he was here in Raleigh, North Carolina, and he held another campaign rally to which he brought some rappers. I believe it was Fat Joe and E40. Fat Joe and E40 came on the campaign trail with him, and they had a blast. Okay, Mr. President. Okay, Mr. President. You say so. You say so. You say so. You say so. All right. Let's go get it. Wow. We're going to stay right here in North Carolina with it. We all know the perils and the woes and the troubles and the controversy of Republican gubernatorial hopeful Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson. He's made a lot of controversial statements and remarks to the LGBTQ community for women's reproductive rights and abortion rights. Even as far as going back to when he first gained recognition and was seen when he was at that city council meeting in Greensboro where he was arguing for, as he say, his right, not just his rights, but for all the rights of his constitutional right to bear arms, because as he feared, they were trying to take his rights away and many other Americans' rights away to bear arms. We all know Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson. He is who he is. He's going to be who he's going to be. That's him. He won't bite his tongue. He'll let you know where he stands on any and everything. And that's just him. Well, looks like Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson is in the hot seat. Haven't had the hot seat in a while. He's in it. Some things have came up. And if you've been following Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson, you know he has had some problems with what they say filing for bankruptcy, not filing taxes. Now it looks like some of his business dealings. It looks like there's been some clarity brought to some of these business dealings and his shortcomings of him and his wife. Because what has came out is a daycare center that his wife owned. And he also ran it with her from 2000 to 2007. Was under state investigation. They had some violations. Now, if you know anything about daycare centers, they do regularly every year. The state comes in and they do inspections. They look at everything from the top to the bottom, from the rooty to the tooty, inside and out. How the kids are being treated, how they're being fed, how they're being laid down, even everything, whatever it relates to how a child is being taken care of inside of a daycare center when mom and dad are at work. The state comes in, that's their oversight. They are responsible to make sure the little kitties are well taken care of. So this daycare center that he ran with his wife from 2000 to 2007, it was under state investigation for some of the violations went as far as sanitary safety and nutrition issues. But the main violation was for falsifying documents. More specifically, falsifying documents for a background check. That's a biggie with daycares. Makes sense, stand to reason. You want to know who's in there taking care of these kids. You want to make sure you don't have any felons, any pedophiles, any child abusers. That's a given. That's another criteria, and that's another check that goes on yearly in that profession. Now, according to the State Department of Health and Human Services, like I mentioned, some of the violations, but more specifically, they had several violations for failure to put sleeping infants on their back, lack of proper refrigeration for formula, improper storage of medications, exposed electrical wires. They found staff members talking on cell phones while they were supposed to be supervising children, and absence of a certified administrator on site. Wow. Um, those aren't small potatoes there, folks. I don't know much about the child care profession. I'm not going to profess to be this grand wizard of daycare. Those are some pretty out large violations to have if you're running a daycare facility. They just are. But like I said, the most serious, what they're saying, is the criminal record background check. Now, Lieutenant Governor in a book, he even acknowledged, he said, hey, the hardships of running a business is extremely hard, and with government oversight requirements and red tape, it's hard. But you're running a daycare center. You had to know before you got into that business that there was going to be governmental oversight. There has to be. There's no way around it. You're running a daycare center. Folks want to know who's in there, what you guys are doing with my child. There's no gray area for that for me. Maybe I'm wrong. What do you guys think? Get in that comment section. I'm sure I have some folks out there, some followers or subscribers that are in that daycare field that can better clarify some of these problems. Maybe this is what his staff has came out and said, is this is just liberals trying to find something to digging up something that really shouldn't be dug up, in addition to all the other things they're trying to discredit his character. If you guys were in this violation, you were running these violations, and you were running this daycare center, and you guys falsified those documents about that background check because the state said, hey, we never got any application from him or his wife as it relates to completion of the background check. But yet when the state inspector showed up, they had the necessary and proper documentation. How? State said that we had no records of them even filing. Well, just like they always say, you can print anything off of the internet nowadays. Yeah, I'd probably print me some documentation if I wanted to go that route. Now, like I said, in a book, he acknowledged, he said that the hardships of running a business with government oversight and requirements, along with that red tape, is pretty much, it's a hard and daunting task. In fact, he said that is what led to his wife stepping down and obtaining employment elsewhere, because they ran that center from 2000 to 2007, and after she stepped down and got employed somewhere else, he took over the duties as the head of the daycare center until dun, 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 it was discovered that the state was getting ready to come in and do an investigation because they hadn't received the proper paperwork, or if any paperwork, for that background check. So what happened? They ended up selling the daycare center. And once they sold the daycare center, the investigation stopped. No need to investigate it. They weren't the owners anymore. They weren't the managers. So the state dropped the investigation. This is not the first time we've heard of folks in these businesses, and when they get in these businesses and they find themselves in a pickle because they don't have the correct documentations or the credentials, because that's another thing that came out. They were saying they were under investigation not only for not having that proper documentation, but also for not having the credentials. Now, we all know, if you know anything about the daycare industry or business, there's a lot of credentials you have to run and operate and be employed and employ someone in a daycare facility. You got to have those credentials. You got to have the proper education. You got to have the proper, the CPR training. You got to have that background check yearly. In addition to, making sure the kiddies are safe, with like those violations they found that range from safety violation to nutrition, whatever, what have you. There's a lot that goes into running a daycare center. There just is. There's no gray area. Like I said, there's no gray area with the daycare center, because if you run afoul or you do something stupid, or you're not doing what you're supposed to with someone else's child and they're under your care and supervision, Father help you. Not necessarily Father help you from the state, but Father help you from those parents. It is what it is. So they sold the daycare center, and the state immediately dropped the investigation because they no longer were the owners. But there's always a but. Isn't there always a but? There's always a but. But apparently, sometime down the line, sometime later, around 2017, if I'm not mistaken, his wife had another nonprofit organization. It was a free lunch program for feeding children. And that nonprofit came under investigation also. Came under investigation after receiving a $7 million government grant or funding. Wow. What happened? Well, it appears. It never really said what happened, but only that they were under investigation after receiving a $7 million government funding grant and paying a salary of $830,000 to herself, Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson, and other members of their family. Wow. Lieutenant Governor, gubernatorial hopeful, Mark Robinson. You got a lot of things going on, pal. You got a lot. You filed for bankruptcy. There's no problem. You failed to pay taxes. It could be a problem. Your statements on women's reproductive rights and abortion. LGBTQ statements. And now we're finding out your businesses were under state investigation for several violations, including lack of credentials, lack of background check for that daycare center. Now you found out that you guys were under investigation once again after receiving government funding and paying yourselves and your family members a wealthy salary off of $7 million government funding for a free lunch program for feeding the youth. Is this the liberals reaching and digging and pulling out dirt to thwart your run for governor or your chances of becoming governor? Or is this something we really and truly needed to know as citizens of the state of North Carolina before we go to the polls? Yeah, we needed to know this. It is what it is. That's what, hey, not only Democrats do this, Republicans do this too, where they find dirt and expose the shortcomings of those political foes. This is what they do. It's politics. But this is most definitely something we needed to know. This. Good Lord. I ain't knocking the man. I ain't knocking your hustle, but man. Got a lot going on there, Lieutenant Governor. We'll see how this turns out, but you got a lot going on there, man. I mean, hey, why, what in the world? Why, what in the entire world were you and your wife doing? Why you were up just about every business venture that you went into, you came out under investigation. by the state. A lot of folks say that a lot of people can't do business and shouldn't be in business. Yeah. After reading that article and sitting around thinking it and brainstorming to myself, I can see now the reasoning behind that statement. Good Lord, Lieutenant Governor. What in the world? I'm sure it is just political for them exposing this. But yeah, we needed to know. At least I did before I go make my final vote. Maybe this will make a lot of folks rethink things. Because as his staff said, hey, it's just the liberals doing what they do. They're just throwing dirt out there, trying to dirty up his name. I don't think they're dirtying up his name, especially if this is true, and it appears that it is. They may be telling hey, we all, like I said, we all needed to know this before we go make that final vote. And here lately, I've been questioning. I gotta say, as it relates to Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson, I love the guy. I like the guy. I think he's a great politician. Well, he's not a politician. I think he's a great candidate. He says what he says. He means what he says. He doesn't sway and alter or falter away from that. If he said it, he said it, and he's not backtracking. I give him that. I give him that. Get it, got it, understand it. But my thing here lately, I've been questioning. I've been trying to look and research and find out. Outside of his controversial statements to the LGBTQ community and his controversial statements about women's reproductive rights and abortion, he really doesn't have anything else. I haven't heard how he plans on moving the state of North Carolina ahead financially. I heard how he feels about moving the state of North Carolina ahead socially, with what he terms the social norms and the social indoctrination as far as it goes with the LGBTQ community and education. I've heard all of that, but how are we going to continue to grow our economy? How are we going to continue to attract businesses to North Carolina? Maybe he's not concerned about that because of his stance. Like I told you guys several months ago, with I can't remember right off the top of my head, the company that quite possibly was Google. Google was quite possibly trying to make a headquarters here in North Carolina somewhere. And if you know anything about Google's, the LGBTQ community, they have embraced and they ain't swaying away from it. And there was another state, Connecticut, that was trying to woo them up there, saying don't go to North Carolina. If they get Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson as the governor, he's gonna quash all of the LGBTQ rights community's rights. So come up to Connecticut. We welcome and embrace any and everyone. Outside of his quarrels with the new social norm, and like I said, women's reproductive rights and abortions, I really haven't heard anything as it relates to how he plans on moving North Carolina ahead financially and building and growing the state of North Carolina. Bring employment here, get jobs here. I haven't really heard anything, unless I've been up on a rock. And maybe I have been up on a rock. But I don't think so. Get in that comment section. Maybe you guys have. I really would like to know. I'm not poking fun at the guy. I just would love to know if perhaps somebody out there could direct me to somewhere where he's actually addressed the issue of North Carolina and its economy and getting new and better jobs here. Then again, what do I know? What do I know? What do I know? I'm going to go on and get out of here, folks. I'm going to go and skedaddle. Get in that comment section. Let me know what you guys think about these topics I talked about today. From Stephen A. Smith and his rant and verbal tongue lashing and finger wagging at the BET Awards for their tribute to O.J. Simpson. Was it warranted? No, it wasn't. Not in my opinion. Because if you watch that BET Awards show Sunday night, and if you've been watching it the past few years or decades, like I said, you will understand my quarrels with that. And it is not black entertainment. And who cares if they pay tribute to OJ? Who cares? And also, let me know what you guys think about the interview that President Biden the unscripted interview that President Biden sat down and had with George Stephanopoulos. Did he stand, or did he appear to be able to handle his business? Was his cognitive skills up to par? He's still off. His age is short. It just is. His age is short. Sorry, folks. Sorry. And also, let me know what you guys think about Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson here, Republican gubernatorial hopeful. Sure has a lot going on in his personal life, as far as money and running businesses with the right credentials and state violations. Does that sound like somebody you want running the state? Or maybe it's just mistakes he's made along the way in life. Everybody deserves a second chance, and maybe he does. But you got to clarify some things. Just do. Hey, like I said, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to skedaddle. Hey, I want to thank you all for lending me your ears this morning. Continue to like, support, share, offer feedback. Get in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about these topics. Good, bad, ugly, yay, nay. Should I shut up? Move on to something else? Or give me some ideas for some new topics. Maybe you're tired of hearing me talk about all these random things. Maybe I should horn in and focus on something else. Let me know what you guys think. And as always, thank you for listening to This Is Just a Thought with Stephen Cornegay. Amen.